A dramatic announcement from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has sparked a diplomatic row with India. Trudeau said yesterday there was credible evidence of ties between India's government and an assassination carried out in Canada in June. The Indian government denies the allegations. Our Holly Williams has more.
Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a Canadian and a prominent Sikh leader, shot dead by two masked gunmen in British Columbia this past June. The Sikhs are a religious minority in India, and Nijjar was a supporter of a separate state for members of the group. His killing sparked protests by Sikhs in Canada who blamed the Indian government for his murder. Now the Canadian government has responded by expelling a senior Indian diplomat.
Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
India's government calls the allegations absurd and has retaliated by expelling a Canadian diplomat. Assassinations carried out by foreign governments and their agents typically draw a punitive response. The US imposed sanctions when a Saudi Arabian journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, was murdered inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey in 2018. And America also sanctioned Russia over the poisoning and attempted poisoning of the Kremlin's enemies residing in the UK, though Moscow denies any involvement. Canada's Prime Minister says the country's sovereignty is at stake.
Let us remain calm and steadfast in our commitment to our democratic principles and our adherence to the rule of law. This is who we are and what we do as Canadians.
There are also economic consequences to this. Talks have been paused on a new treaty with Canada that India hoped would boost trade by around $6 billion a year. Anne-Marie.
Holly, thank you. Joining me now with more on this is Ian Austen. He is the Canada correspondent with the New York Times, and he broke the story last night. So, Ian, give us a little bit of background here. Who is Nijjar? What was his profile like in Canada and India?
Well, Canada has a large Sikh population, particularly in Surrey, British Columbia, where Mr. Nijjar lived. He was the head of a temple there and killed outside of it. So within that community, he was a very high-profile figure. I mean, you know, Canadian society in general, perhaps not. So it's quite unusual and shocking for a violent political assassination to take place on Canadian soil. There's been, I think, real shock across the nation.
And so I know that kind of a little bit of the criticism that came after Justin Trudeau's announcement is there wasn't a ton of information released. He said there's credible evidence. I mean, what do we know about why Canadian officials believe the Indian state carried out this alleged assassination? And also, I should ask you, why would the Indian state want to assassinate him, if that's the case?
Well, I guess to deal with your second question first, there have been he's now the third prominent Sikh nationalist who's died mysteriously and suddenly. There was another person killed in Britain and one in Pakistan. Mr. Modi's government, of course, is very, very pro-Hindu and has, like many Indian governments, been quite worked up about the Sikh succession movement. So, the motive is there that they're viewed as terrorists and enemies of the state by India. Canada doesn't support the Sikh separation from India, but it also defends the right of legal free speech for Sikhs in Canada. Sorry, the first part was?
So the first part had to do with what sort of kind of evidence, or was there anything additional that Justin Trudeau or others said to explain why they were so convinced that the Indian government was behind this?
No, and I don't think we're going to see very much of that. There's of course a criminal investigation by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police into the actual murder itself, and Canadian judges don't like leaks in advance. Canadian police rarely discuss investigations, and overriding this, Canada's largest mass murder was carried out with links to Sikh separatism. It was the bombing of an Air India jet in 1985. The police badly bungled that investigation, so I don't think there's any appetite to try to taint any possible investigation and charges here.
So then, where does this leave the state of relations between Canada and India? As you point out, there are a lot of Indian expats that live in Canada. What's happening with the relationship between the two countries at this point?
It's not been very good from the beginning between Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Modi. There was a kind of ill-fated visit not long after Mr. Trudeau became Prime Minister 7 years ago, where he criticized Mr. Modi or give messages of support to striking farmers in India at the time, which did not go down well with Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi's repeatedly snubbed him over time. So things were at a pretty low ebb, given that the two countries have a very close historical tie as former British colonies, and Canada was once a major provider of foreign aid to India. So, I mean, one imagines that they're going to only sink further. There's, of course, a massive and divided population of people with Indian heritage in Canada. They're about 4% of the population, and that some of them share Mr. Modi's view. Some of them are Sikhs who are not nationalists, and a small number of them are Sikh nationalists. So it's difficult to figure out where this is going to go, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be a rapprochement between the two countries.
Yeah, not at this point. Ian Austen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne Marie.